Good morning, school fundraising pro Facebook group members. Welcome to our Facebook group live session. And also remember that we are streaming live into YouTube channel today as well. After today's session, I'll share the link to our YouTube channel. So if you have any friends who are not in our Facebook group, you can share that link so that they can watch the content and watch a replay later. So today, I am so happy to have is Candace Bozek, and she is the Marketing Manager of Morweb. It's a web design agency and content management system for leading nonprofits, associations, and schools. Candace has worked with organizations across a wide range of industries. I'm so sorry, there's something wrong with my system. So sorry.
I can take over from here.
Okay. Yes, sorry about that. I
Amy,
had
if you
some
want.
tech, it was like echoing. Hi, Candace. Thank you for coming today.
Hi, thanks for having me. So Morweb's a web design agency for nonprofits and schools. We've been working with organizations for more than 7 years. I'm very grateful today for Amy to let me talk to you today about school web design. I wanted to go through and kind of show you some common mistakes that I see on school websites and then give you some ideas to help improve your own design. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen so I can show you some examples. Go. So we can all see the school website theme for Morweb. I'll log into the back end and show you. So here we have Morweb's dashboard. It links to Google Analytics, so you can see important metrics like the overview, top visited pages, referral traffic, things like that. And then we also have pages, blog posts, forms, and then other built-in modules. If we go to the home page, so here you can see Morweb's live editor. So it's just a drag and drop editor. You can add anything you want to the page, buttons, content. And then we also have our modules, which we have our and donations, events, as well as our video course module. So just going through some best practices. A common mistake that I see on school websites and most websites in general is that there should only be one H1 tag. So that's the title tag. If we look here, this is our H1 tag. And then any other headers should be H2. And then the headers within that will be H3. And this is important to follow the correct header sequence because it will help your website rank better for search engines, and it's also important for web accessibility. Take a look at Web Accessibility Contact Guidelines, WCAG 2.0. They outline some best practices for making your website more accessible. Another good practice to have is a call to action button in your navigation menu. So this depends on what page you want to. It might be your programs page, online donations, events. Here we have our online courses highlighted in the top. And then we also have our contact us link. And then we're linking to our phone number. And then we also have the ability widget, which allows you to do things like increase the font, decrease the font, switch to grayscale. or highlight links. You can also reset. So this is great for people with disabilities. It'll help them view your website better. Here we have Morweb's video course module. You can see different course catalog. If you click through, you can see information about the course. There's information about the presenter, the instructor, course description. And you can also add a quiz at the end of your course to test the user's knowledge. And set, this one's set to free, but you can also set different prices for the courses. Just going to go to our About page. So here, another important best practice is to always open links in external links in a new window. For example, if you're linked to another website, you want it to open in a new tab, because otherwise if it opens in the same tab, they might have trouble getting back to your website, and we want to keep them on your website for as long as possible. It's the same for Word documents and PDFs. I'm just going to insert a PDF here as an example. And then I'm selecting the new window. So now if you click on the document, it opens in a new window instead of staying on the same one, and they don't have to press the back button to go back to it. Another area often overlooked in nonprofit and school websites is the meta titles and descriptions. So that is what shows you search for something in Google, that little snippet of text. So I'll go through an example with our About page. If we click on the settings icon here, we go to SEO. You can see the page URL. And then we want to show that to search engines. And then we have the meta title, so that's the title of the page, as well as the name of your school. And then under the description, we just have a short paragraph describing your school. So you want to include important keywords like where you're located, what kind of school you are, who your students are, things like that. And for the description, you want it to be a maximum of 160 characters, and then the title is a maximum 60 characters. And that will show properly on search engines. And now if we click on the page, we can see the meta title is up here. Another thing I wanted to bring to your attention, I highly recommend all schools to do this, is to get Google Analytics for your website. So it's a free account. You can just go to Google search up Google Analytics, create your account through your Gmail, and then you can add the tracking code on the website. So you just go here and then tracking info. And then you would just copy that and put that in your website's header tag. And it depends on your website. With WordPress, you can go with the back end and add it through your header, or through Morweb, we'll add it for you. Our developers will. And then it just gives you information about who's coming to your website, how long they're on it, their session duration, bounce rate, and other important metrics. So now I'd like to go through and show you a few examples of great websites, and then maybe they might give you some ideas for your own. Here is we recently designed Alverno College's website. They have a great video banner here with some quick links, as well as they have a nice mega menu drop navigation menu, and then highlighted quick links at the top, and a nice call to action button. They also have great imagery and some nice counters. They have a great explore programs page. You can search by category or keyword. And then you can just click in, see more information about that specific program. Another one I'd like to show you all is the Globe Academy. This is another website we recently designed last year. They have a great slider bar with photography, and then a very simple, clean navigation menu with an accessibility widget, call link, and search. There's also a sticky menu here. You can see to go to the careers page. And there makes it easy to apply for jobs. They've also done a great job with their footer. They have a call to action to sign up for their newsletter, as well as links to recent news stories, and then some quick links. They've also split it up, their navigation menu, by students, parents, and employees, which I think is really great. So each constituent or audience can get different information that's important to them. Another one I'd like to show you here is Sonoran Schools. So they're a group of schools. There's a few of them here. See, they have a counter, and then they have a nice interactive map with showing the different school locations. And then you can click into them to get more information about that specific school. They have a nice simple navigation menu, accessibility widget, as well as a translation option. And then there's two call to actions here. You can support us, which goes to donations. And here they're using Morweb's donation module. As well as enroll is their other. So another school that I wanted to show you is Sci-High. It's a STEM education school in New Orleans. Here you can see they have an alert banner. They have a nice simple navigation, social media icons, and a call to action. They have great photography on the website. I think it's just a very nice, clean design. Upcoming events and news, as well as embedded Instagram feed and tweets. And then if you click the call to action, it brings you to their science fair event, which had a counter and then information about it. They've also done a great job of breaking up information by group, so students can get quick links to information that they want, and parents as well as teachers. And this site is unique because it has teachers pages where the teachers can log in and post information about the course and post resources that the students can log in and access. So now I want to go through a real-world example with you. show you, thank you so much, Amy, for providing her website to me. So this is the Troy difference. It's a foundation supporting the Troy High School in Fullerton, California. So right off the bat, we can see there's a nice image here. It's very engaging. It's a nice clean navigation menu with a search option. That's very important. And it's just very simple, quick information. Now, before our session, I put the website into Wave. So Wave is a web accessibility evaluation tool. If we see here, it creates the website in. We can get more information about the SEO and accessibility of the website. So here we can say that there's the H1, that's great, there's only one on the page. Over here, it's saying it looks like there's a header, but it's just using paragraph text. So I'd recommend switching that to H2. And then over here, we have links. It's saying that it's very low contrast because it's a white text on a black background, which can be very difficult to read. And then another thing highlighted over here is that it's saying a skipped heading level. So that means it's going from H1 to H4 and then to H3. So I'd recommend switching this to paragraph text or H2, and then switching this to H2 or leaving it as H3 if this is an H2. Go back to the website. Another thing I noticed is the favicon is showing the WordPress icon. So you'll want to put your logo in there, so you can see with the Morweb website. As well as the footer, there's it says powered by WordPress. With the footer, you want to put your own organization's name, and it's also a good practice to put some quick links to important pages in your footer. If we look at the website on mobile, I recommend everyone to look at your website on all different devices. You want to look on your computer, laptop, tablet, and smartphone, just to make sure that it displays correctly on all of them. So here we can see that the embedded tweets are very long on mobile, so we might want to put a limited amount of previews to just make that a little shorter. Another recommendation would be to also put a few social media icons in your navigation menu. So you can put that up here on the side here. But if you want to improve the accessibility to make it easier to read, I'd recommend changing the black to just a color that makes the text easier, a higher contrast. So rather than white text, you want to have black text on a light background. And that's all I have prepared for you today. If you want to learn more about Morweb's web design packages, you can go to morweb.org, free trial, our contact page, and you can enter your information here, and we'll get back to you to set up a demo and get you a quote. Yeah, thank you, Amy, so much for having me. Oh, stop sharing. And I want to open up, if it's possible, to any questions.
Yes, thank you so much. It was very informative. I've been taking notes. And for those of you who are watching it live, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section, and I'll try my best to ask Candace those questions and get them answered. And while we're waiting, I actually have some questions for you. So as you can see, the website that I provided you as an example for the parent organization that I'm part of, it was created by a dad who had some knowledge, and he figured out how to set this website on the WordPress, but he doesn't have the marketing background. He doesn't know all the things that you've mentioned during your presentation. So, and I think that's a lot of times, that's the case for a lot of organizations whose members are in this group as well. So if they were to hire out, or if they get a volunteer to help them build this website, what are some things that you can ask them, or ask them to keep it in mind, or make sure that they incorporate into the website?
So the biggest things that you'll want is web accessibility and SEO. For web accessibility, there's the WCAG guidelines, which I mentioned before. That's Web Accessibility Content Guidelines. And there's different levels. So there's AA, and AAA. I'd recommend for schools you want to try for A or AA. And then that's usually just following up best practices, say for headers, adding link text, alt text for your images, basically just making it navigable by keyboard or screen reader technology. That's what the accessibility means. And then for SEO, those were the headers that I mentioned, and you want to have your meta descriptions and titles. And alt text is also very important for SEO as well.
That's really good, because I do have websites and I didn't know what it was. It was like, it's blank right now for my personal website. So another thing that I've noticed about a lot of organizations' website is that it's too cluttered. It's like, I feel like they just build on as they went on, and there was not a thought that went in to organize it, make it very accessible and user-friendly. So do you have any recommendations for organizations who are dealing with an issue like that, like too cluttered website?
For sure. So you want to, when you create a new page, you want to highlight your objective for the page. What information is the most important, and that should be at the very top. And then lower down is the rest, more details about the information. And if your page is getting very long and cluttered, you might want to consider breaking that up into another page or multiple pages. I also highly recommend just using white space to help break up text and images, just so it's easier for people to read. With Morweb, you can put in spacers and different columns to help make it more digestible.
I like that. Another thing that I wanted to ask about is the cybersecurity. Is there something that we need to keep in mind when we're getting either which platform to use to build our website, or some other plugin or whatever that we need to incorporate?
Yeah, so it depends on what your CMS platform you're using. WordPress, for example, is an open source system, so it's more vulnerable to hacking. I highly recommend getting Google reCAPTCHA for all of your forms. If it's a WordPress website, I would not recommend linking your email, because sometimes bots will crawl the website and then grab your email and put that into spam lists.
Oh, okay.
So and then other platforms, say Morweb is a proprietary platform, so we manage all of the security for you. So you don't have to worry about extra plugins. But say for the open source ones like Joomla, WordPress, a few other ones, there are security plugins that you can add that will make it a little more secure. And you also want to make sure that you're always updating your plugins, because that's usually how hackers get in with the open source platforms, is within a plugin that's weak or has weak security, or it hasn't been updated.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, things like Wave or the Google Analytics, it seems like
Hmm.
those are things that many of us may not even be aware of, that we
Hmm.
can utilize to assess, how we can improve the accessibility and SEO for our websites. Because,
Yeah, and they're
you don't,
great tools and they're totally free, easy to add.
yeah, because I mean, you build a house, the website is like a
Hmm.
house, but you need to make sure that people can find it and then use it.
For
And
sure,
if it's
exactly.
not, if it's not built that way, then it doesn't serve the whole purpose. So,
Hmm.
okay, sounds good. So you briefly mentioned Morweb, but I want to make sure that the people who are watching they can find you guys. So can you
Hmm.
just tell us how we can find you once again?
So you can go to moreweb.org, or you can send us an email at info@moreweb.org.
Okay, sounds good. And what kind of services do you provide specifically?
So web design, SEO, marketing, and branding. We specialize mostly in websites, but we're full service design agency, so we can also develop a logo and print as well.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. And another question that I ask our speakers is, we are a group of people who want to learn things. So if we want to read up on some of these, like the best practices for website and things like that, can you recommend either like a website or podcast or something that we can use?
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a list actually of
Do you want to
blogs
share
that
the
I
screen
like to
again?
look at. Let's see. Yeah, I'll share my screen. So these are just a list of blogs that I like to follow. They're mostly nonprofits, and then for SEO, um, what is Neil Patel is a great example. He has a lot of information about how to improve your website as well. Site Improve blog. It's just articles on improving your SEO. And Content Marketing Institute. That's more focusing on the content of your website and how to help drive more traffic to it. Moz. Moz is an SEO company, so they have a lot of like very specialized blogs about SEO.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I mean, there's so many things that we can learn to do to improve, and website is something everybody uses and that we have for all the organizations. And I think sometimes people just focus on having something there and
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about how good it is or how to update it so that it's timely and they can use it to the full potential. So the everything that you talked about today has been very useful, and I'm hoping
Well,
that the people in the group will find useful, and if they have more
mm-hmm.
information that they'll reach out to you for the resource.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sounds good. Thank you, and have a good week.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you once again for joining us today. Today was a little bit different because we talked about the website and how to optimize its SEO. And as you can see, I'm relatively new at it because I don't even know which lingo to use. But I'm hoping that we've provided you with some resources so that you can go and learn and get some more information. And also, I hope you check out your website once again and see how you can improve. And if you would like more information, you can always contact Candace or put some comments in our Facebook group, and I'll try to contact her and get you the information you need. Thank you once again for joining us. We have another Facebook group session planned for next week on Wednesday. And also know that we are streaming live into YouTube channel as well. So I'll share that link after the session is over today so that you can check it out and then share it with your friends who are not in the group, and also invite them to join us so that we can continue to learn together. Thank you once again and have a good week. Bye.